The best square Abby's ever seen. It's one of the best views of the weekend, wasn't it?
Most people wouldn't have talked about online, and
it's
we don't.
Top tip.
It's a bit of a hidden gem, really, isn't it? Cheers. Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel.
Bonjour.
Thanks for clicking on the video today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to throw you back all the way to Prague today, and we're ready.
And we're ready to get to Prague.
Let's go.
So we went to Prague last August time. It was the start of August 2020. In between the time that we was locked down the first time and then the second time, you know, everyone went on holiday. We went to Prague for 3 nights then, didn't we?
Yeah. So we thought we would give you guys some information on like our top 5 things to do. Top tips, top 5 things to do in Prague. So, for those of you that don't know, Prague is the capital of the Czech Republic, and it is a very, very beautiful city.
Lovely, isn't it?
It's absolutely
very nice.
Absolutely gorgeous. So it's known for its like medieval buildings, architecture.
It's known for its Gothic cathedrals, abbey, and castle, and it's also known as the best-looking city in the world.
Is it?
It is.
Look at him throwing all these facts out. Anyway. Instead of us rambling, let's get straight into the video. Top tip number 1, which is Charles Bridge. Charles Bridge
is a bridge.
It is actually a Gothic bridge that connects the old town to the lesser town, and it is one of the biggest tourist attractions in Prague.
It was built by Charles IV, who was the Czech king and Roman emperor.
And did you know that egg yolks were built in its construction to make it extra sturdy?
I did.
So it's a fun fact, that one. But anyway, our experience of Charles Bridge.
If you want to buy a whittled bowl, you know, like a whittled bowl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's loads of places to buy it there.
In
Also,
shops.
if you're looking for a wire.
Yeah, loads of it really interesting, I think is what's going
You're
to
looking for a Coke bottle.
Okay.
That has been painted like a stained glass window.
Pretty much what he's trying to say, there's really interesting souvenir shops along the bridge. There's usually lots of Czech musicians playing Czech music.
Food.
Lots of little food stalls. It's a really good atmosphere, wasn't it? It like felt really like kind of buzzing when you walked along it, and
felt like you were on holiday, didn't it?
It felt like you were on holiday.
That's what it was. It didn't feel like you were in the city, it felt like you were on holiday.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and you got a really good view of Prague Castle when you were there, and like all of the architecture as well as the big river. So I think like it's such a good photo opportunity. So not one to miss. Get yourself to Charles Bridge.
Miss it.
Number 2, Prague Castle.
Can't go to Prague without going to Prague Castle.
No, and that's where you can see from Charles Bridge as well.
So according to the Guinness Book of World Records, it's actually the largest castle complex in the world.
Yeah, which is crazy. We didn't even know that.
Pretty good title to have, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't even
to
know
be
that.
in that book.
Didn't even know that when we were there either. And it's 70,000 metres squared. And it is a World Heritage Site. Of course, it houses the palace, shock horror, and that has loads of different buildings with different architectural styles, all the way from the 10th century to the 14th century. So it's pretty cool to look at. When we went to Prague Castle, we didn't actually go inside.
No, we didn't need to.
You don't actually need to. That's why this one is free. If you want to go in, you have to pay. But the walk up there is like part of the kind of experience in itself to get to the castle, because there's loads of like cool restaurants and bars and like little things to stop off at, and then as you go up the hill,
It was one of the best views of the weekend, wasn't it? It was worth it. So I think it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when we got up there. We thought, should we pay and walk around? And we was a bit drunk, so we thought,
and hot.
a bit drunk and a bit hot because it was absolutely boiling. So we just climbed right to the top, and there's a big lookout point where you can see the whole of Prague, isn't there?
Funnily enough, there's a Starbucks on the hill that you can stop and have a coffee at. We didn't do it, but we were quite shocked to see that was like just strategically popped in the most picturesque place in Prague.
It was like view, Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so worth it just for the walk and the view, and then getting to see the castle outside. So 100% would do that.
And then on the way down, stop at like every bar.
And then you'll get home absolutely hammered like we did, but it's a must-have.
It is.
Tip number 3 is the Old Town Square and Astronomical Clock. So the Astronomical Clock is based in the Old Town Square, and it's a huge tourist attraction and event when it chimes.
It was it's pretty old though, isn't it? It was built in 1410, making it the 3rd oldest, fact number 3, 3rd oldest astronomical clock in the world, and the oldest one still operating when the batteries are run out.
Yeah, so if you do want to go see the astronomical clock, it chimes every hour on the hour from 9 until 11.
Make sure you start the countdown. Just waiting for the countdown. 10, 9, happy 2 p.m.
When the clock chimes, the 12 apostles like come out and spin round on the clock.
Yeah.
So like
it is pretty cool, but I thought it was like a show, but no, in all seriousness, it was good.
And also the town square, the old town square, when I first saw that I was pretty in shock because it is the most gorgeous square, if you could say that I've ever seen in Europe.
The best square Abby's ever seen.
I think that's the main thing about Prague for me, was just everything was so beautiful. Like everywhere you looked was stunning.
And in the old town square, there's obviously loads of places to eat and drink and have a beer. You can get on a horse, probably get your face painted, do all the traditional tourist stuff, but it is about 2 to 3 times more expensive than 2 or 3 streets over. But it's worth having 1 or 2 there, isn't it? And having it. I mean, it's still the same price as the UK anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So depending on your budget, you can have a drink there and experience it and even watch the clock from a nice, comfortable restaurant, or you can stand in the rain like we did and watch it. But anyway, it is one of the top tips, and 100% you can't miss it when you go to Prague.
It's a good-looking clock.
And it is a good-looking clock. And square.
That sounded so wrong.
Top tip number 4, we went and had a walk around the Jewish quarter for the afternoon, which was really cool. It had a very different vibe to like the old town square, didn't it? It was so much more quiet and like relaxing. There was a lot of synagogues around as well to look at, which is really pretty. And then we went and visited the old Jewish cemetery. The
Jewish cemetery is one of the largest of its kind in Europe. I think, what did it cost to get in? About 100 Czech to get in. We walked straight in, but I think you usually have to queue.
And book online, they usually say a few days in advance. Like if you're in peak tourist time and it's not COVID, then you should definitely book online. But it was 100% like worth the visit to kind of learn about the sad history.
It's sad, but I think when you go to cities, you should also you should go to the good, fun things, but then you should also go to the other bits of, history and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And it was really interesting to look at and was like a great afternoon for us, a bit different to what we've been doing, which was a lot of drinking and eating. So I would 100% recommend. All right, so tip number 5, and and our favourite one, because this is the one that most people wouldn't have talked about online, and
it's our top tip.
It's a bit of a hidden gem, really, isn't it?
I did think it was.
So we were like in the old town square. Our friend who we were away with, she was like, "Oh, I want to go to a rooftop bar so we can get some good views and some nice drinks looking over Prague." So we were like, "Cool." She found this one that was in the old town square.
It was actually opposite the clock, the astronomical clock.
Yeah.
And then to get in, it was the equivalent of like £15, wasn't it? Like each, and then you had a minimum spend on drinks and food.
I think it's like 500 Czech or
Honestly,
something.
It was literally daylight robbery. It was like you'd pay less to go for a cocktail in the Shard.
Yeah.
Like it was honestly ridiculous.
Yeah, so we were like, look, we're not doing that. It's too expensive. Like that's not in our budget. Right. Let's Google it and try and find somewhere else. So anyway, we found this really, really cool rooftop bar called Tianka. Anyway, we got there and it looks like a little weird... I mean, when you walk in, it's just a lift in like a square.
It's at the side of a shopping centre, and you go in a really dodgy lift that looks like it's sort of run down, and there's a cat dead in the corner and someone's pissed all over it. It literally smelt like piss. And then you go upstairs and you open it, it's just this nicest roof bar, isn't it?
Yes, apparently it's got the biggest terrace in the whole of Prague, but it's not advertised anywhere. Like no one talks about it online. Like we didn't read about it before we went, so it is so good. Obviously, it's not free to do, but when you bought food and drinks and stuff, it wasn't expensive at all.
The drinks were like normal Czech price, a little bit more, but they were, if not cheaper, or the same price from what we'd been having in the rest of the city.
Yeah, and it's got a massive variety of beers as well. I think that's one of its things. It has like loads of different types of beers that you can try out and stuff.
It wasn't open when we were there, but they have a barbecue as well.
Oh yeah. So that was one of our favourite things to do in Prague. We actually went back 2 times because the food was nice, the drinks were nice, and the view was so nice.
Yeah.
So it felt like a great
Check
place.
that out. We'll put the directions on maps there.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. That was such a good place to go, and I think it's a great place to get pictures if anyone wants to, and also just to look at the city. So
for sure. Okay, so that was our top 5 tips and things to do in Prague. Honestly, I would definitely recommend visiting. It's one of the nicest cities in the world.
But we hope that was enjoyable and informative for you guys. And if you're new here, then I'm Abby and this is Gaz, and we do adventure videos weekly. So please give us a thumbs up if you like our videos, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. But we'll see you next week for next week's adventure. Bye!